Now, what does the Bible say about eating pork and shellfish? Drop out. Big king. Get free or die. All right. Uh, let's just go straight in. And the pig, though it has a split hoof, completely divided, does not chew the cud. Ugh. It is unclean for you. You must not eat their meat or touch their carelessness. They are unclean for you. For all the creatures that live in the water of the sea and the streams, you may eat. Any that have fins and scales, okay? Fins and scales, very important. So let's see, how do uh the Hebrews feel about eating pork? Okay, indeed, in the Hebrew Bible, eating pork is not only unclean, it is treated as disgusting and horrific. Exactly. The book of Isaiah associate it with death, adultery, and sin. 65, page 65, verse 4, 66, and 3. Whoever the problem, it appears in some way to violate important cultural principles. Okay? We'll go right here. Why does the Bible prohibit you from eating pork? Okay? Why? Why does it? Why does it? Why does it? Why does it? Let's see. We're going to see right here. Let's see. We're going to pull it on right on up. Okay. As most rituals, we cannot say for sure that it was the meaning is the avoidance may have multiple meanings, or we talk about pork now, have not at all the primary function of many rituals to create its identity to be a ritualistic, ethnic, or otherwise. It may have other inherent meanings, or at least not a clean one. For the example of circumcision. Okay? So, we're not going to go into all that. But what it's saying is that pork is an unclean animal. Now, I want to tell y'all something about the cat, the rat, and the dog. Now, my Islamic brothers always teach me about the cat, rat, and the dog. And, coming from, Elijah Muhammad, and, you know what I'm saying, Farrakhan and shit, Malcolm and shit. And they say the pig is a mix between a cat, a rat, and a dog. You see what I'm saying? And if you think about it now, scientifically, a pig is a part of the hippopotamus family. That's why I be rolling around in the mud. Okay? But the cat and the rat and the dog, if you know, like the Yakub story, the created man or whatnot. I did Bobby Hemmett was talking about it. So it's the created animal too. And if you look at it, it's a species that'll eat anything. That the pig will eat you. Matter of fact, they say while you eating the pig will eat you. But if you throw some body parts in the trough, the pig will eat it. The pig, it'll eat his own excrement or whatnot. You understand? I've seen dogs do that too. You see, that's a relationship that the pig and the dog got and shit. Lick his own nuts and shit. Same shit with the dogs and the cats do. You see what I'm saying? So it's what the Muslims be saying is right. You know what I'm saying? The food of Islam brothers and shit is right. You see, they explain their science in a particular way, but I like it though. If you understand what they saying, they right. But now Dr. Khalid Muhammad say when the pig walk, it just leave a bunch of pus and shit behind it. And if you go to a farm or something and you see pigs walking around, Let it start walking on some concrete and see don't it start leaving a little line of pus and shit. And when you cook the meat, it's all pussy and shit. It's all fat. So I'll read this at the top. One of the most distinctive foods practices in both Judaism and Islam is the avoidance of pork products. In Jerusalem, they prohibited has been in many ways of showing Jewish identity and challenging it. For example, books that of the Maccabees describe on how the Maccabees revolted came revolt came about in a part through the Sudids king and the Antioch kings. Hold on, Antioch's attempts to force the Jews to eat pork and their refusal to do so in Mark 16:6 and 18:7 and 1 and Mark 1:4 and 7. Similarly to avoidance the pork in Islam, particular food in the rule in the Quran is 5 and 3 in the surahs, and then 6 and 1 in the surahs, 6 and 145 in the surah. Okay, and thus a way of maintaining Muslim identity and prohibiting the importance enough in the Islamic Republic of Iran bringing into the pork into the country. So they don't even let you import pork into the country. And I'm telling you, the Muslims, like my uncle and shit, Supreme, my Uncle Supreme make your ass go outside and eat that shit. Straight up. Straight up. When I used to eat pork about 10, 15 years ago, now hold on, when the last time I ate some pork? Probably like 2008. So it's been a little minute for me, about 13 years or some shit. But I remember when I did go to his house and that nigga made us eat some pepperonis and shit on the pork. I knew right then, I say something with that. And I stopped eating it. You know what I'm saying? And then I seen this lady and shit. And she was doing the voodoo ritual and shit. And I'm going to get back to the story. She was doing the voodoo ritual and shit. And it was a crazy man. They always, you know how them people be walking around looking in the sky talking to themselves and shit. She was wanting to try to fix him. So she did a ritual and took the sickness out of him. And then she got her little rocks and shit. And she blew the smoke, which was I guess the disease and shit, onto the pig. Man, soon as she blew that smoke onto the pig, man, the pig just started going crazy. I'm talking about banging his head into the damn cage and shit. And it basically just fell over dead. And the brother basically came back to his senses. So whatever she did worked. She took the disease out of him. And then kind of like on the Green Mile. Y'all remember the big dude on the Green Mile and shit. How he grabbed that white boy because he was having problems in his genital areas. And then he took the sickness on himself. And then he spit it out and shit. That's voodoo. You see what I'm saying? On Vodun. You see what I'm saying? And see, they took that like the same way. So it says, and thus a way of maintaining Muslim identity, the probation is important enough that in the Islamic Republic of Iran, bringing pork into the country is punishable by 3 months jail sentence. But why is it so important to be in both religions? What is the meaning? Now, again, obviously the ancient people knew that this meat was very fattening, man. And if you put one piece of bacon, and I got some pictures for y'all, got some must for y'all. If you put one piece of bacon in the pan, man, the whole damn pan be full of grease and shit. And so, you know, the ancient, you know, even in the religion, people looked at that like, man, that shit gonna kill you if you eat too much of it. You see, I don't eat it at all. I just ain't gonna put that shit on my. Now, this is the diet of the slaves. Now, I did a video the other day. I think it was about the recipe of KFC and how they got it from a slave lady. Okay? And so I told y'all half the diet is African with the herbs and shit like that. Cause how you gonna automatically know some shit? That was something that we brought from Africa. The herb, the onions, kale, uh, uh greens, whatever. We had to know it. Poke salad and shit. You just can't eat that shit. You gotta know how to cook it for one, and you gotta know what herbs you can. So that's African. But this other shit y'all talk about is slave food. The other side is slave food. That y'all talking about soul food. It's slave food. That just facts, and they just throw the shit on the ground, and this what we was supposed to eat and shit. And now, hell, white people eating chitlins and shit, and used to throw that shit on the ground for us to eat. And see, the African to go right down there, pick them herbs and onions and wild, all that shit, and cornbread and all this shit. We create and make a what they call today a Thanksgiving dinner, because this what black people eat on Thanksgiving. I don't eat none of this shit. If your callaloo and shit, then you gonna put some little pork. I ask motherfuckers that shit like, you don't put some bacon or ham in your greens and shit, cause I don't even want to put that shit up to my lips. I don't give a fuck, cause I can smell pork after you stop eating that shit for a while. It tastes funny. It got a funny smell and shit too. And when I used to eat it, I used to have stomach problems and shit. As soon as I started eating that shit went out the window. That shit went out the window and shit. But you know, this is what we had to eat. And so even that's even going to the shellfish. Even going to the shellfish. Now this right here, what y'all calling the butter and shit. What y'all calling the butter is the crab's organs. And it's how he strains the dirt from the ocean through his gills. That's what that is. That's dirt and you know, plankton and shit caked up in there. That's why it's a filtering system. So basically you eating his shit. So that's basically shit. That's basically shit. Y'all saying this, I be seeing I don't eat crabs or none of that shit. It saying y'all, I ain't even no Christian. These the same people that's Christian. But this is their diet. And I showed y'all at the front where they books say they pose it, they can eat fish, they can eat whatever animals, long as it ain't no goddamn pork. Because it's a very nasty and unclean animal, okay? And long as it ain't, you can eat anything in the water, long as it got fins and scales, and that was very key. That's where the shellfish shit part come in there. And the shellfish is an octopod, which is a damn sea roach. It's the sea roach. You eating the roaches of the sea, the shit that clean the stuff off the bottom. So when the mafia and shit, and somebody owe the mafia some money and they ain't can't pay them and shit, and they go out there and hook goddamn to a chair, chain them down to a chair, and put goddamn bricks and shit all around the chest or the sink, and the body go to the bottom and shit. What you think is eating it and gonna clean all that up? The crabs and shit, the oysters and shit is the same thing. It's a filtering system. So that yellow stuff, what y'all calling butter, is an organ of the crab that he uses to clean not only his system, but the ocean, like the air that he breathes, which is ocean water. Okay, so you eating a filtering system that's dirty. That's dirty. That's dirty. That's dirty. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And that's why they were saying crabs and shit, seafood, had coronavirus in it. Because a lot of what y'all eat, shrimp, all that shit is the cleaners of the ocean. They the cleaners of the crabs, the shrimp, shit like that. They the cleaners of the ocean. And the ancient people understood that. The biblical people understood that. The Islam, even because they got the information from the ancient people. See, that the ancient people had to test all this shit out. And just because it worked, it became biblical. It became Bible. It became truth. It became that you couldn't do it no other way, or it was harmful to the human body. That's just facts. That's just facts. So, this right here is the diet of the slave. That's the diet of the slave right there. And you got these niggas talking about they Christian. Man, if y'all don't get cuz, y'all better stop eating that pork. It is not good for you, okay? Drop out. Big, big king. Get free or die.